Here in this video we will do our best to showcase the age of all the dragons of the Targaryens, as well as the wild dragons of Westeros. Remember, this is not a list of dragons as to when they were hatched first according to dates. This list is about the total number of years each dragon lived, with a few that we have to estimate since they were never recorded dying. So here is the age comparison of the dragons of Westeros, of A Song of Ice and Fire. At 25 we have Morgul and Shers. These two dragons were born to Aegon and Helena's twins. They were never really grown to an age that allowed them to carry the two younglings in flights. The dragon eggs that would hatch these two were placed alongside cradles of baby Jaehaerys and Jaehaera in 123 AC, and they were Shers and Morgul respectively. Number 24. Drogon, Viserion and Regal. According to the series Game of Thrones, these three dragons of Daenerys Targaryen were born in 298 AC and were around 7 years old by the time of the last season events in Westeros. Although the other two died in the war, Drogon managed to live on and is currently still alive. 23. Morning. This pink dragon of Rhaena Targaryen was stated to be born during the Dance of the Dragons between 129 and 131 AC. She would survive the war and would live on to be one of the last remaining dragons. Morning was still alive in the year 136 AC during the 16th birthday of Aegon III and would have lived on for a few more years. Number 22. Moon Dancer. Bonded with Baela Targaryen while she was still pretty young, by 129 AC Moon Dancer was considered a young dragon but was still not big enough to carry the 13-year-old Baela Targaryen upon her back, although in 130 AC Baela was able to fly with the dragon. However, in the series House of the Dragon and her rider would be seen in battles across Westeros. Number 21. Stormcloud. So a dragon egg was placed in the cradle of Prince Aegon Targaryen III at his birth in 120 AC, and this egg hatched into the dragon Stormcloud. Unfortunately, the dragon would die alongside the others in 130 AC during the dance, which tells us that it only lived to be 10 years of age at the max. 20. Cyrax. The three dragons of the three sons of Rhaenyra Targaryen and Laenor Velaryon had a dragon egg each that were put with them in their cradles. This was done to expel rumors of the kids being bastards of Harwin Strong. These eggs would soon hatch along with the princes as toddlers, with Joffrey Velaryon being the youngest, with the dragon Cyrax hatching by his side. The exact date each hatch is unknown, but Cyrax seems to have hatched by 120 AC, making him at least 10 years old. 19. Cyrax. So, since Lucerys was 2 years older than Joffrey, and there is no exact date as to when the dragon Cyrax hatched, it is safe to assume that the dragon would also be 2 years older than Cyrax. Unfortunately, Cyrax was killed by Vargar in 129 AC, which would only give him around 10 to 12 years of life. Number 18. Vermax. The dragon Vermax was the eldest amongst the three dragons bonded to the sons of Rhaenyra and Laenor. It was also visibly larger than Cyrax, as was seen in the first season of House of the Dragon, which would maybe give it 1 or 1.5 years age difference with Cyrax, and it would live till 130 AC, therefore living for around 3 years longer. 17. Tarion. This blue dragon was bonded with King Viserys' third son with Alicent Hightower, who was named Daeron Targaryen. Tarion was hatched before 120 AC. As far as we know, she was already a small fledgling dragon by then, which would make her as old as Vermax, if not a bit older than him. Number 16. The Last Dragon. It isn't exactly told to us when the last dragon was born, but it was a small dragon that was sickly and laid a clutch of 5 eggs, which never hatched. All that was told to us was that it lived during the reign of King Aegon III. So she would have been older than the other dragons here, since she had already laid eggs by 152 AC, maybe more than 15 years of age. Number 15. Sunfire. So Sunfire was born to Aegon the Elder. The would-be king was born in the year 107 AC, and by the time he was 13 years of age in 120 AC, he had become a dragon rider. By this time, Sunfire was described as a young dragon of riding age, meaning that by 120 AC, the golden beast might have been already 5 to 7 years of age, and by the time of his death in 131 AC, Sunfire would have lived for around 16 to 18 years. Number 14. GRE Hose. GRE Hose was a pale grey-white dragon, the color of morning mist, and he was a notably shy dragon who avoided men and their works for years at a time, meaning that GRE Hose would have been a flying age for decades. His death was in 130 AC, but the year of his hatching is unknown as he was a wild dragon. 13. Sea Smoke. By 101 AC, Sea Smoke was a young dragon bonded with Laenor Velaryon. He would later bond with another Velaryon named Adam of Hull during the dance. This ashy smoke called a dragon, which was stealthy in the clouds, would die in 130 AC, and so his lifespan would be around 30 years. Number 12. Cyrax. Rhaenyra became a dragon rider at the age of 7 in 104 AC, when she flew into the sky on the back of a young dragon whom she named Cyrax. So this dragon would have already been around 5 to 7 years old at this time, probably hatched a little while after Rhaenyra's birth, hence making her the royal dragon around 30 plus years. Number 11. Quicksilver. Quicksilver was the she-dragon of King Aenys Targaryen, spelled A-E-N-Y-S, Aenys Targaryen, and his son Prince Aegon Targaryen. As a hatchling, Quicksilver bonded with infant Prince Aenys Targaryen, who had also been born in 7 AC. He, along with his dragon, would be killed by Maegor on top of Balerion in 43 AC, so that gives the dragon only 36 years of life. Number 10. Mirais. Mirais, called the Red Queen, was a she-dragon ridden first by Princess Alyssa Targaryen and then later by Princess Rhaenys Targaryen. In 75 AC, Mirais was considered to be one of the swiftest dragons in Westeros, easily outpacing Caraxes and Vargar. This means that she was of riding and fighting age by this time, and at her time of death, she would have been over 60 years of age. Number 9. Caraxes. It is unknown when Caraxes hatched from his egg, but by 72 AC, he was a young dragon of rideable size, meaning that he would have already been more than 5 years old by this time. Thus the Bloodworm would already be more than 60 years of age during the start of the dance, and therefore a veteran of many battles. Number 8. Vermithor. According to legend, Vermithor hatched from a dragon's egg that had been placed in the cradle of Prince Jaehaerys Targaryen by his sister Rhaena in 34 AC, and became riderless in 103 AC after Jaehaerys died. Vermithor bent his neck to a blacksmith's bastard called Hugh Hammer during the dance and died in 130 AC, having lived for 96 years. Number 7. Dreamfire. Dreamfire was hatched during the reign of King Aegon Targaryen the Conqueror. As a hatchling, she bonded with a 9-year-old Princess Rhaena Targaryen, which was Aegon's first grandchild in 32 AC. During the dance, she was bonded to Queen Helaena Targaryen, and the dragon died in 130 AC in the Dragon Pit, and thus would have had a lifespan of 98 years. Number 6. Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer was a mud-brown dragon that was wild and later bonded with nettles during the dance. Sheepstealer's dragon egg hatched when the old King Jaehaerys Targaryen was still young, which means after 35 AC. Also, given that Sheepstealer and nettles flew away and his death was never recorded, it would mean that he would have lived beyond 100 years of age. Number 5. Silverwing. According to legend, Silverwing hatched from an egg that had been placed in the cradle of Alysanne Targaryen in 36 AC by Rhaena. During the dance, she was bonded to Ulf the White, and after both her rider and Vermithor died in the war, she lived in Red Lake as a wild dragon, and continued to do so till the end of the regency of King Aegon III in 136 AC, thus making her over a century in age. Number 4. Mirais. She was one of the 3 dragons of Aegon the Conqueror. Her date of hatching is unknown, but she was sadly killed in the year 10 AC. Before she died, she was described as being bigger than Vargar when they were together, and thus would have been born before her. The age estimate is anywhere between 98 to 124 years at her time of death. Number 3. Vargar. At the time of her death, Vargar was stated to be 181 years old. The mightiest dragons at the disposal of King Aegon Targaryen and his Green faction during the Dance of the Dragons, the oldest beast on either side, and the last surviving dragon of Aegon the Conqueror's subjugation of Westeros. This tells us that the year of her hatching would be around 52 BC. Number 2. The Cannibal. This wild dragon of Dragonstone was never bonded to anyone and might have been from a different lineage, alien to the blood pact between the Targaryens and their dragons. Since he was the oldest wild dragon, he is definitely older than Sheepstealer, who lived to be around 100. Since the folktales tells of his appearance since 114 BC, and that he lived way past the dance, he might be a challenger to the number 1 spot of the oldest ever dragon to have ever lived in Westeros. And number 1. Balerion. Balerion the Black Dread was born in Valyria before the Doom and before the Targaryens migrated to Dragonstone. He was the biggest dragon to ever be described in Westeros, although there might have been dragons of his size and age in ancient Valyria. Balerion died in 94 AC, which would make him 208 years since the migration in 114 BC, and maybe more than that if we account for his early life in the Valyrian Freehold. And so with that, we come to the end of the oldest living dragons of Westeros, an age comparison. Now if you like this video, then watch this other one as well, and do check out our channel for other dragon and monster content. We might just have things you haven't seen before. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.